Hello. So I'd like to just make a quick video today documenting my experience of taking LSD in combination with a flotation tank. So this happened to me about 2 days ago now, so I'm still just kind of integrating and processing the experience, trying to work out what it meant. So I'd read about this combination online and I'd read a few trip reports, and it sounded to me like it could potentiate the effects of the LSD, as well as providing a kind of unique introspective element to it, which if you're taking LSD in a party situation you can often kind of get distracted from. From my past experiences, this element of the experience is where the most learning occurs. So while it is fun to take it in more social situations, and obviously I'm not saying you can't learn anything from that, I was more interested in kind of an analysis of myself and to see if I could maybe learn anything about parts of myself which I'm not too familiar with, or maybe I've suppressed. So I went into the experience with these kind of intentions. I always try and set myself some kind of intention whenever I do a psychedelic journey of this kind. I initially was planning on doing roughly 300 to maybe 310 micrograms, but I decided on settling for slightly less, mainly because I was a bit apprehensive about being in a social situation on a dose this high, and also having to interact with the people in the flotation centre. So I ended up settling for just over 200 micrograms. So the acid that I had was very pure. I'd done it before and found it to be very clean and very no body load or any kind of negative side effects from it in those respects. So I had planned the experience for quite a while, for maybe a month or two. I'd been thinking about doing it and researching it. I settled on a date and I booked the flotation tank. Booked it for 3 hours. I had previously been for a 1 hour float. That time I was completely sober, so I felt like I would need slightly longer, especially due to the kind of duration that LSD is notorious for. So just before going, I ended up having a bit of an argument with my girlfriend. So this put me in a slightly negative mindset, and I was feeling maybe that I would just do it on another day and just go and do the float and do this experiment at some other point when I was in a slightly more positive mindset. I decided just before I got there, maybe 20 minutes or so, that I would actually continue with it as planned. So I took the LSD on the way there. By the time I arrived, I wasn't really feeling much of a change. Maybe a very slight shift in my kind of peripheral vision, but aside from that, nothing too major. So when I arrived, I was completely compos mentis and completely able to interact with the people there, which I think was good, because it maybe would have put me in a slightly paranoid mindset had I thought that they'd known while I was in the tank. When I arrived, I got in the tank. I didn't necessarily feel any effects from it for the first, say, half an hour to 40 minutes. And when I did first feel the effects, they were very non-visual. It was very much a slight shift in my perception, so my thinking, my thought patterns, and also a very strong bodily sensation. So moving around a lot, I felt like I had this kind of excess of energy that I needed to move around with my limbs. So I was kind of writhing slightly, kind of like a snake in a slightly kind of serpentine way, moving my body a lot, and just quite enjoying the sensation of just being completely weightless and just kind of wriggling like that. So this went on for a while, and then I started to notice these very complex machines in the darkness, which were kind of coming out at me. These were quite difficult for me to describe really in words. They were almost slightly DMT-esque. If anyone has that point of reference to available to them, then that's kind of what I would compare them to. Very crisp, crystal clear machines made up of infinite parts, very complicated, very futuristic looking. They look very alien, mechanical. I'm not quite sure what they were or what this meant, but this went on for some time, just observing these. And then I started to get these very strong audio hallucinations of. So I produced music, and these were very much like synthesizers and reso basses. So very almost like slightly psytrancey sounds that were happening in my head, and yeah, this was quite intense in a way. This went on for quite some time with these kind of bleeps and these bloops. I started to see the sounds, so this was a synesthesic effect. However, at the time it seemed so obvious that this was how the sounds looked that it was very hard for me to actually appreciate the fact that I was having a synesthetic experience. It seemed more like this was just very obvious. This was something that would just be as plain as day. This is how the sounds looked, and there wasn't necessarily anything special about it. But looking back, it was very much an experience of synesthesia, which is something I've never actually encountered before. So this was quite an interesting turn of events. As I went deeper into the experience, I started to think more and more about my family and the way that I treat them. I don't have any. I have no kind of qualms with any of my family. I would say we all get on fairly well. But I started to think about the love that my mother feels for me, and the amount of time and effort she's put into raising me and caring for me as I was a child, and she still does, this unconditional love. And I started to feel this sense of guilt for not returning it, for not speaking to her as often as I should do. I mean, I live on the other side of the world from her at the moment, so we don't get to talk as much as I'm sure we'd both like to, but I just felt this very strong kind of impetus to make more of an effort with talking to her. And then I started to think about other people in my life who I have strong emotional connections with, and just the ways in which I sometimes am not necessarily the most supportive or loving person for them, and ways in which that I could improve on this. So it was almost like a life review, and whether this was exacerbated by the fact that my girlfriend and I had a fight the night before, I'm not sure, but either way it felt like things that I needed to know and I needed to realise about myself in order to become just a better person to be around for everyone, really, and in a way also a better person for myself, so being more compassionate and loving towards myself as well, rather than just everyone else that I know. So I was thinking about all of these things. Then I started to think about my granny who was in hospital. She was fairly old and she was fairly ill, and she'd been in hospital for a month or so. And I started to think about her and about her life and what her experience must be like now, being just locked away, or not locked away, but you know what I mean. Her sense of freedom has probably just been completely taken away, and she's just by herself in a hospital room, essentially just waiting, I suppose, for death. And so I started thinking about her a lot. Started to kind of review life and just how strange it is. And it's funny because I almost felt like my consciousness merged with her consciousness at some point during this experience, and I felt like I I was essentially her, and I was living her life at that very moment, and I could kind of feel her pain and her anger, her frustration at how her body was failing her and all of the things that come with age. And she was a very independent person, so I started to feel her pain and frustration regarding that.